Hello, happy Thursday! I'm answering questions from the Ask Clara thread for October 10th. We have this question from Heather. I'm not going to read all of it, but essentially she is asking for feedback on her workflow steps when it comes to creating blog posts and then using them for social media, etc. Heather, it looks really good. One thing I just wanted to comment on is when I looked at how you wrote the steps, I try to batch together the same actions when possible. So when you say that you're writing the blog post and then writing the script for the video, and then further down, you mentioned like writing the email newsletter, see if you could group that writing action with steps 1 and 2. And I'll show you an example of this. So here I'm showing you how I write my blog in my Google Doc and how I try to put everything that I have to write into one document. If I open up a little sidebar here, I have a section for the blog content, the blog settings, in this case for Squarespace, for like SEO purposes, and then also a section for email. So the email that I'm going to be writing to promote the blog that I've written. And I like to do them all in one block because anything that I have to write, whether it's a description, the content itself, the script, etc., it's really helpful for me to just have them all in one document. I could have even had a section for the video script, for example. And the reason I like to keep it all in one document is, so see all this content that I wrote for the blog. If I want to now pull any of that language into the actual email that I'm going to send to my newsletter, it's very easy for me to copy paste stuff from the blog and place it into the email newsletter section itself. And then of course I'll adjust some sentences as needed, but it just makes it really easy for me to copy paste from different sections of the same document. The other thing I want to share about my process too is usually when I'm writing within the Google Docs, I'm already planning out the formatting of headlines and subheadlines as I'm writing because it just helps me really visualize the hierarchy and structure of my content. You'll also notice that I'm using pink text when I want to call out a piece of text or when I know I want to insert a specific image or video in a particular section. For example, here in the section about finding the largest window, if you're using window light, I already know that I have an image that I could use to better illustrate this point. And even if I didn't have an image, I have an idea of the image that I would want to take to illustrate this point. So for example, here it says split screen view of when I was filming in the living room. That's because I knew, I'll scroll to that part, that's because I knew I had this image that I'd worked on in a previous presentation that I knew I wanted to insert here. And so those are little notes that I like to give to myself, so I'm almost visualizing the blog even before I have the images perhaps fully in place. You'll see here's another example of an image where I want to do a three-way comparison of lighting angles when you're using window light. Again, if I go back to the blog and I scroll further down, this is that three-way comparison that I talk about in the blog. Sometimes I have these slides made ahead of time. Other times I'm already brainstorming the type of image I would create later on. You also mentioned that you would be recording a video and uploading it to YouTube, complete with an optimized description and thumbnail. In this particular situation, I wrote this blog before I made the video. What I tend to do, because I know the video will take me a little bit of time, is I just go ahead and write the blog and publish it just so that it can be live and perhaps gaining some traction. And then I go back in later and add the video once that's done. That's just a personal preference just because I like to have something up and published because I know it's still a really good quality blog even without this video that essentially summarizes what the blog is saying. But that's up to you. You can wait to publish your blog until the video is ready or not. Now for the actual YouTube video itself, so here's an example of this video that I embedded here into the blog itself. You'll notice I've added a few lines in the description that I pulled again from my blog or my email newsletter. And I wanted to point out some other sections that I tend to add to my videos that you might want to add too. If I'm recommending any tools or gear, I have a recommendation section. So for this blog, I recommended a 5-in-1 reflector. I have an Amazon affiliate account, so I'm including my Amazon affiliate link here. I have a section here about how I made this video. I'm calling out that I made designs in Canva, that I edited. This was the script, and I used Premiere Pro for motion graphics. I also have a section about Let's Connect, where I'm linking people to my website and to my Instagram account or whatever social media account that you want to link to. And then I have a little disclaimer that because I am mentioning affiliate links in this video, I'm just calling out that I'm going to earn a small commission. So those are sections that you might want to consider adding to your descriptions. And whatever sections you end up consistently using, just have this in a template somewhere, like another Google Doc, so you can easily copy paste them into your YouTube descriptions. Finally, this is what my email looked like when I promoted this blog to the newsletter. You can see that I was just able to jump down here to the email section, and I was able to copy the text here and paste it into my email service provider, which I use ConvertKit. This image that I use here, you'll notice I use the same image to highlight my blog. I use the same image as the thumbnail for the YouTube video, and I use that same image as the main blog thumbnail. So if I was to go to all blogs, you'll see there's that image here. When possible, I like to reuse this graphic that represents this piece of content in multiple places. I didn't create any Pinterest pins yet for this particular blog, but if I did, I would again use this same image as a base for making those Pinterest pins, which you mentioned here in step number 7. So again, my main recommendations based on your steps is try to batch the same actions when possible. Try to batch all your writing in one session, all your image creation in one session, and of course, all your scheduling for Instagram and Facebook in one session. Hope that helps.